Anyway, let's jump right into some Resident Evil 7 news.
Yeah.
Because there's two topics actually. On the one hand, we have some good news. On the one hand, we have some bad news. Well, depends on how you look at it. It's more. The bad news is more on Denuvo's side, and Denuvo is a company that provides DRM protection for video games on the PC market, and apparently, Denuvo's Resident Evil 7 DRM has been cracked in a matter of days. Even though their whole thing was that it would take. They're not uncrackable, but at least it takes like weeks, months, after the initial launch period, when the people who really want it, they have no other option but to get it in store. But for Resident Evil 7, not so much. So they issued a statement and said, well, we never said it was uncrackable. But this is of course this is not very good news for them.
And also not really for Capcom, I would think.
No, what I'm always wondering is how much people who pirate video games, to what extent is that actually a lost sale? Would those people, in the end, if they can't get it for free, would they pay money for it?
And I also wonder how many sales it would lead to, because for some people, what I hear is that, I'm not going to buy a game full price if I don't know if it's any good, yes or no. I'll check it out first, and if it's good, I'll buy it. Mm-hmm. So it's a sort of a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
maybe.
But I wonder if people who pirate games initially, won't they just get their fill and then, not buy it?
For some, probably they only maybe do the first 2 hours, and if they think, okay, this is good, I'll buy the whole thing.
Okay, that's some nice integrity there, but...
No, I think most people will download. If you're a pirate, you're going to download it, you're going to play it, you're not going to buy it. But what I do wonder is, because this is for the PC side of things, right?
Yes.
Probably the most units sold is on the console side, right? I would think. I'm not really 100% sure of this.
I would think so
too. It's not really how... You don't lose a lot of sales per se, and it's only for only a small margin of the market. So there's a little bit of a saving grace, maybe, but it's bad for the company, and in the end, it's also bad for the industry.
No, definitely. I mean, it would definitely make PC a more attractive platform if it's widely considered to be more safe than it was, especially I don't know, the early 2000s, where you could just download everything.
Everything. Yeah. Just copy the CD-ROM and everything is good.
Download some cracks, get some fresh viruses to go with that, and you're good to go.
Yeah, but no, it's also interesting because especially on the PC, I get the feeling that if you just wait for 2 or 3 months, there's a sale and it's going to be cheap anyway. If you already bought a very pricey system to play games on, why would you skimp on the games?
Yeah, exactly. And Capcom, especially, they did everything right with this. I mean, they gave out a demo, so you really, even those people who say, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy it in the future if I like it, but I'm gonna pirate it first. Those people don't really have an excuse because they had a demo to enjoy and to.
Yeah, to be honest, the demo was shit.
No, I fully agree.
But it's in the case of Resident Evil, you're correct.
I hope Denuvo will come back from this. Another game was also cracked, and this other game is Conan Exiles. And apparently it was cracked after Denuvo was temporarily removed due to an error in the build process. So
what?
I don't think it was... Oh, it was actually the developer's fault because they accidentally removed it in an update. So yeah, that's one way to shoot yourself in the foot.
Wow.
So that's not really Denuvo's fault.
Here, we are uncrackable. Please delete us with an update.
Go on, see what happens.
I double dare you. Oh, man. But I'm actually, for some reason or another, I'm on Wikipedia.
Wow, look at you.
But they have quite a number of games that are not cracked. Just Cause 3, not cracked. On the other hand, Batman Arkham Knight, cracked. Far Cry Primal, cracked. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, cracked. So it's really the most popular games get cracked. Those that are not really popular.
The point is when they get cracked, right?
Also, yes.
I mean, you get most of your sales in the launch window, period. So if they don't get cracked within at least the first month, then I think you are pretty much good to go.
Yeah, true, but more from the Nuvo's point of view, like we have a long list of games that are not cracked. This should be doable, right? So
yeah, true. Yeah, I wonder how long it usually takes. But apparently, this was quite a big deal. Of course, it's in the first week, so that's not good for anyone. But there was some good Resident Evil 7 news as well.
Please do tell.
Namely, that Capcom confirmed that 100,000 VR users were registered through their survey service. And so that's only people who opted in to supply Capcom with their data. So there will be more people out there, and our good friend Panda is one of them, who bought this game with, or at least are playing it with, a PlayStation VR. So to Capcom, that proved that people are interested, and hopefully they will remain interested. But in any case, Capcom will focus more on VR in the future.
Okay.
Thoughts? Opinions?
Always. It shows that there is an interest in VR, but I also read a lot on the internet that people are getting very motion sick from Resident Evil 7. So what I'm wondering, if Capcom confirms 100,000 VR users, does that mean that they actually played
50,000
the whole game?
are puking their guts out.
Yeah, and that the other 25 only tried it for maybe 15 minutes and then said okay, this is not for me. I'm wondering, but it does confirm that there are a lot of PlayStation VR units out there, and people are of course then using them. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah, that's good.
Me personally, I'm still waiting for the killer app, but it's the system
this,
seller.
Right? It's got to be this. Well, it depends. It depends, on, of course, on what games you like, and I know.
Yeah.
But you like horror, right?
I like horror. I just don't like Resident Evil. So, I mean,
let
me say this.
Yeah.
Resident Evil, I tend to not like, but as long as it's multiplayer, I do enjoy playing it with a friend.
Yeah.
But I would not play it single player on my lonesome.
But this game is entirely different in setting, approach, gameplay. So I mean, if you didn't like 4, 5, and 6, that doesn't go to say that you won't like this one either.
The history of the franchise, I'm not really excited to get it right now. So maybe down the road, of course, if it's somewhere in a sale or anything, or in a bundle, whatever, then maybe. But I'm not really giddy to get it.
Okay, that's fair. So what kind of game would push you over the edge for VR?
I'm not really sure, actually. I don't think a first-person game would get me going for VR, because I still feel the disconnect between first-person and having a controller. I would something more than that. But if you are talking about, let's say, a first-person game where you are, for instance, Titanfall segments where you're in a Titan in VR, that would work, I think, because that is, you're sitting somewhere inside a thing.
Yeah.
And that would confirm with what you are doing in reality. That would work, I think. Or maybe a racing game, or maybe a tank game, or anything in such a setting that you're in a cockpit. But I do not think that every game is suited for VR. I think that it will be a sort of segment, and that maybe other applications would be better suited for a VR experience. Maybe like movies or something like that.
Sure. Well, for me, I would just enjoy, for example, the sensation of walking around a big video game world in VR, like for example, Skyrim or The Witcher or Zelda. I know you're not the biggest, you're not that big on open world games, but having a beautifully realized world and having it right there in front of your eyes, that is something that would appeal to me.
I'm not sure yet, but then again, I'm not really 100% on VR right now.
Me neither.
I'm still thinking it's sort of a sorry that I'm going to say this. I feel it's still a little bit gimmicky, because everybody is very excited, but I don't really see a system seller per se for me.
Yeah.
And for people who do not like horror.
I agree. I wonder if it's gonna stick. I mean,
right?
You don't really see that many big name video game creators jumping on board
Yeah.
And really like Capcom did with Resident Evil 7 and making an experience that really is tailored to VR. So
Yeah.
I wonder how many people are going to get on board, and maybe Resident Evil 7 will be sort of the catalyst for this to happen more in the future, and I would like to see that happen. But so far, I'm not really convinced that VR is the next big thing and that it is going to stick.
Which is interesting, because I think that there are quite a number of companies chasing the VR dream. There are quite a number of units out there as well. So at least the user base is there, but maybe it's still a little bit too segmented, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But you just do not really see... You see experiences, but not really full-fledged games.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Resident Evil 7 is really like the first truly full-fledged game out for the platform, right?
Correct. Or at least I think so.
Yeah.
You also had, what was it? The game by Crytek? Robinson or something? With the dinosaurs? Is that out already? I'm not sure. Was that good? I'm not sure.
So many questions.
Whatever. So many questions.
Few answers.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's at least... Resident Evil 7 is at least the biggest game out there right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.